Alright, moving on to our next comic book review, and today we're going to be talking about The Penguin, the Prodigal Bird. This is written by Tom King. This was sent to me by my friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again for this comic, as well as others. And yeah, so, for those who don't know, Penguin's my favorite Batman villain, and Tom King is one of my favorite writers of all time. I actually got to meet him at MegaCon. Really cool guy. Also, really jacked. Like, he looks like he could... Like, I know his former work was FBI and government contracting. The dude still looks like he could kill you. Anyway, so, Penguin the Prodigal Bird. Having my favorite writer do one of my favorite writers write one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Batman villain. And what am I saying? He is my favorite Batman villain. I was really excited for this. I was absolutely excited to read this when it was coming out. Apparently it was supposed to be, from what I understand, a miniseries, but it just got extended into an ongoing because it was that good. Yeah. So, for those who... Let's do some backup real quick. Like, let's do some context real quick. In the Chip Zdarsky run, Batman believed he had accidentally killed Oswald, leading to the whole thing with the Zur-En-Arrh Batman and everything else that ensued. However, it turns out Penguin's still alive and now living in Metropolis. However, Waller and an agent that we'll get into later, because it does tie into another book, basically force Penguin to go back to Gotham to retake his criminal empire from his twin children, Aiden and Addison. Yeah, Penguin had kids. In other words, Penguin fucks. Yeah. So, I find it interesting that, like, Waller and the agent, the government agent, Agent Espinosa, who her whole thing is that she swears all the time. Actually, Agent Espinosa and another character that shows up called The Help actually appeared in a comic not too long ago by Tom King called Batman Killing Time. It was a mini-series that I reviewed about several months ago. I really liked it, so to see the pieces of Batman Killing Time brought up for this Penguin book is really cool. I find it also interesting that that the main theme of this story is that the government is trying to put a controlled force into a crime-ridden city to have controlled crime again, rather than some unknown element they can't control. Man, it's almost like a former government worker who knows the ins and outs of how that works is trying to say something about how our government views and tries to control organized crime to thereby disenfranchise several minorities and several lower Cree groups to gentrify certain areas. But I wouldn't know anything about that. Yeah, that's gonna keep you up at night, right? Anyway, so the comic, the first few issues, it's the first 7 issues, including Penguin issue 0, which is written by Chip Zdarsky, which is more or less like a prequel to his Gotham War storyline. But this comic, the first 7 issues, the first 5, let's get into the first 5. The first 5 is just Oswald slowly getting back into the groove. Like, Waller forces him into it, and then through some government help, as well as Penguin being, well, Penguin, he slowly puts his empire together in those first 5 issues, which, again, I feel like that was supposed to be the end of the miniseries. But then, like, then it was like, hey, this is selling really good, make it an ongoing. And Tom King went, bet. So, the first 5 issues, which I really like, they all feel very episodic, and they all feel quite like their own standalone stories. Like the first one where Penguin is like reinventing himself back in Metropolis. Second issue is when he meets the Help again from Killing Time and gets his, well, help. The third issue involves like a lesser known group called the Forces of July, which were a DC comic group now being forced to work for Penguin by orders of the government. Again, going back to what I said earlier. And then issue 4 is him meeting a lost love of his in Nevada, and finally he gets the help of Black Spider, which is kind of cool to see Black Spider used again in a comic. I also like how Tom King gives these lesser known characters, well, more character. Like Black Spider was working for the Penguin twins because his boyfriend was dying, and the venom drug that they had helps with his paralysis and his his boyfriend's neurological damage. You also have just great storytelling in here. So that's the first 5 issues, is Penguin building this group and getting ready to move into Gotham. The other 2 issues are like a retelling of Penguin's rise to power with surprisingly Batman's help. That's what I find fascinating, is that Tom King tells like a whole Penguin Year 1 story in the span of 2 issues. Does it retcon some things, and does it retcon Penguin Pain and Prejudice? Yeah. But at this point, and while I really like Penguin Pain and Prejudice by Charlie Huston, this comic definitely is a solid one of talking about. And again, I really do feel like Tom King is trying to say something about those in higher power trying to have a leash on controlled organized crime with this whole like alliance of early Batman with early Cobblepot. So yeah. This is a damn good book. This is a phenomenal comic. There's a lot of great storytelling. Of course, it's Tom King. What the fuck do you expect? There's a lot of great action in here. What I also like is like the internal monologues are not from Penguin. Like Penguin does not get a internal monologue. We get it from the Help staff. We get it from Penguin's ex-wife. We get it from from Black Spider or the Forces of July, the goons that now work for Oswald, but never from Penguin's inner monologue. And I find that's a really cool idea, because it really plays up the whole thing of you don't know what Penguin's thinking. And everyone treats everyone treats Oswald like the biggest threat in the room, because he is. And I like that how they play with that whole thing of the inner monologue with everybody. And it's not Oswald, because no one knows what Penguin's going to do next. There's a great scene at the beginning of issue 1, where some guy calls Oswald fat, and he's like panicking in his head and trying to like take steps back and like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And then at the end of the issue, when Penguin goes to pick up his tuxedo, he's like, he beats him to death with his umbrella. And let me just read you some of this dialogue real fast, just to help you get some thoughts in how that works. My head, no, I didn't mean it. Please stop, it hurts. I won't say it again, you're beautiful. You are always beautiful. Please, it hurts, I'm bleeding. It's shit like that, right? Anyway, so absolutely love this book. Tom King once again nails it with DC characters, and I can't wait for Volume 2. So, Chris, thank you so much for this comic. And you guys tell me in the comments below, if you've read Tom King's Penguin, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.